Hey, Megan Scully, and this is the Limerick Post Show. Coming up in today's show, the big interview is with the organisers of Metis Music for Mental Health and also the charities that were involved. First up, though, the top stories in Limerick, and the University of Limerick has appointed the first ever female president. Dr. Kirsten May will take over the role in September. Next up, the university hospitals around Limerick have resumed normal services. Now to our Out and About section, and I caught up with singer-songwriter Cat Reynolds to chat all about his new music and life in lockdown. First up though, Dr. Rita Cosgrove told me all about the brand new COVID tracker app and why you should download it. I'm delighted now to be chatting to Dr. Rita Cosgrove all about the brand new COVID tracker app. Rita, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No problem at all, Megan. Thanks very much.
Let's get straight into it. The COVID app, can you tell us what exactly it is?
Yes, so this is a app that it's free of charge. You can download it to your smartphone. It was launched earlier this week, and essentially its purpose is to help with contact tracing. And the purpose of contact tracing is to help stop the spread of COVID-19 in Ireland. So it's just another tool that we can use to augment the existing contact tracing program that's happening at the moment.
And I think the great thing about the app is, especially now with pubs opening shortly, restaurants are already open, and with all the phases, moving and people now going around the country to different places, is the fact that, would say, for example, I'm going to a restaurant this evening. If by chance someone in their test is positive for COVID-19, my app will notify me that I was around someone that was COVID positive, meaning I can go and get tested to see whether or not I have picked up COVID from this person. So I think that's why this app is so vital. And the more people that download it, the more, I suppose, cases we can control.
Yeah, absolutely. So the app, essentially what it can do for us is that it can alert you if you have been in close contact with a person who is tested positive for COVID-19 who's also using the app. If you yourself test positive for coronavirus and you're using the app, you can then anonymously alert those that you have been in close contact with to let them know that they've been exposed to a case and that they are potentially at risk of developing the virus. So yes, absolutely, it's very useful to us in terms of contact tracing.
And I have the app here on my phone. It's on Android and iPhone. And what I really like about it is a daily check-in to say how you're feeling. And it says here that almost 290,000 people have registered how they're feeling today. 99% feeling good, 1 have some symptoms. So I think it's really important to see this and to realize the figures. And as well, it gives a daily update of the cases and a very important information for us. And one thing I like about the app, it's very user-friendly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very easy to use. And as of today, there are approximately 940,000 people who are using the app. So they're hoping that within a day or two, we'll be up to 1 million. Yeah. And I mentioned its uses in terms of contact tracing, but you alluded to the check-in function. I think that's really great as well. So basically, like you say, every day you can log in, you can document how you're feeling that day. So you can say, yeah, I'm fine, I've no symptoms. But also you can say, I'm not feeling great today. And then it prompts you and it asks you about, do you have a cough? Do you have a fever? Any change or loss of smell or taste? And based on what you input in terms of your symptoms, it gives you some advice. So if you say, yeah, actually, I've got a temperature, I have got a really bad cough, it's going to tell you that you should self-isolate, you should get in contact with your GP, and they'll organize for you to get tested. So it's a really good system.
I actually put a question box on my Instagram yesterday, my own personal account, and I just asked, have you downloaded the app, yes or no? 2/3 said yes and 1/3 said no. And I know on social media there has been this kind of apprehension because people think that they're being traced by everything that they're doing, but it's not. It's to trace in case you have been around someone that has coronavirus, someone that's positive. And I suppose the thing is that if you're around someone and you don't know, and then you go around other people, that's what could potentially cause a second wave. So this is hopefully going to prevent that second wave from happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you say there has been some concern about data protection and privacy, but this app absolutely has been designed to protect the privacy of the people using the app. So it's using technologies, Bluetooth, and what are known as anonymous IDs. So essentially, when you're in close contact with somebody else who is using the app, these anonymous IDs are shared between the app. Okay, so that allows for us then to contact trace at a later date. So if you in turn, in a few days' time, test positive for coronavirus, you can upload the anonymous IDs you shared with other app users. And this can allow us to alert those close contacts of yours. So you're not sharing, there is no data shared between the app users, and your data is protected. And on covidtracker.ie, there is a lot of information about privacy and how we're using the data if people are interested.
That is also interesting, as you said there, and I like the way that it will alert you, but in an anonymous way if you are around someone, as you said, like even if it was a friend or family member that you were in close contact with within the past few days, you won't know that it was them that possibly
Exactly.
has had it.
Yeah.
That, which is, I think, is really important for people to know and to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're never told who the case is. You can choose to use this app. You can choose to share or not share whatever information you want to. You're not going to be asked for your name. You're not going to be asked for your address. You're not going to be asked what your name, address, age. That's not asked for at all. At any point, you can delete the app. You can update the settings and what you want to share at any point. And again, like I mentioned earlier, this is just another tool that we're using in terms of contact tracing. So if you choose to not use the app at all, that is fine. There is a robust contact tracing system in place, undertaken by the public health system, that should you be in contact with a case, you will be contact traced.
Okay, perfect. That's good. But I suppose if people do have an Apple phone or an Android phone, and if they can download the app, it obviously would make things a lot easier for everyone involved. And hopefully, as I said, we could stop a second wave coming our way.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the key message.
Dr. Rita Cosgrove, thank you so much for chatting to us on the Limerick Post Show and for talking to us all about the COVID Tracer app.
No bother. Listen, thanks very much, Meghann.
Not too bad, Meghann. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Not too far away now from us in the city. You're out in Adair.
Yeah, that's it. Lovely village.
It's absolutely fabulous. I'm actually going out there this evening for a personal training session, so I love going out there.
Is that out in the woodlands, is it?
It is, yeah.
Place.
Now, Cat, you're no strangers in the city, though. You went to Scully and Tutorial.
I did, yeah. It was definitely two very good schools. I enjoyed both of them a lot. Tutorial, like, as you know, is just great for getting your results. You're just working hard all the time. You have no life, but I still enjoyed it. Made some good friends.
And what about the whole music scene for you in school? Like, when did music kind of become a big part of your life?
To be honest with you, I always did music outside of school. So like I did it for the junior cert, and I did extra classes outside of school, and I did it up until 5th year as well outside, and then I was able to do it in school in Tutorial. But to be honest with you, once I decided to go to college, like 5th year and 4th year were probably the years that I decided music was something that I wanted to do, and then started looking into the options, and luckily Cork School of Music popped up, and I did a few auditions for a couple of universities, and that was definitely my favourite one, so ended up going there.
Yeah, it seems to be a great place. I've had quite a few artists now on the show in the past year who went there or who are going there, and it just sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, if you're into your music, if you want to learn music, it's definitely the place to be in Ireland anyway. It's just the entire experience is very well rounded. You learn different aspects of everything, and yeah, I really enjoyed it there. Just finished up this year. I got my results today actually.
Oh,
so I was very happy.
Yay! Congrats.
Thank you.
So how was it though the last few months? Because obviously you finished at home and away from Cork.
Yeah, I finished. So basically, the last 3 months of college, I finished on the 2nd of June, and I think we went home in like the 2nd or 3rd week of March. So yeah, every exam got turned into some form of online submission. Projects. A couple of exams got turned into projects as well, and one of the modules that we do, I actually was supposed to be putting on a gig, and obviously couldn't be doing that, so that got turned into a video submission. So it's just got I did 9 videos in my back garden.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I had my dad going around the place videoing me, but I enjoyed it. It was good.
It's very cool though too, because your family, I'm sure, got to see what it's like for you. Because I'm sure down in college in Cork, you're all helping each other out. You're all having to get other people in to do filming for you and to help with
Yeah,
lighting and everything. So I'm sure it's cool for your family to see what you do. Like I found in lockdown, my family could see that I actually have a real job, and they were like, "Oh, you're actually working today." It's like, yeah, no, this is what I have to do, and like that, asking my mum to hold cameras for me and everything. And it's like,
yeah,
this is what we do.
I know exactly. They don't really see even half of what's going on
Yeah.
behind closed doors or whatever. But yeah, no, I think they definitely enjoyed taking part in it a little bit. And I do agree, like they don't know half of what's going on. That you're working away, and they're like, "Oh, he's just off enjoying himself, basically." But yeah, no, it was definitely nice to be around them.
Yeah, no, it's been nice to be able to spend time at home. And now, do talk about the brand new track "Ever After Happy."
Yeah, so Ever After Happy is basically just a song that I got the idea for writing when last year we were doing a road trip up the west coast of America, and just basically the feeling of freedom and just the enjoyment that we got out of it kind of spurred this song to be written. It's I don't know. I think it's a very happy song. There's nothing down about it. It's upbeat, and everything is just it's just like life is good sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I was playing it now before I chatted to you, when I was first sent it as well. And I have to say, I do love the track, and it's kind of nice to have a happy, upbeat track, because considering lockdown and everything that's been going on.
Yeah, I agree. Like I got loads of messages from people saying that they liked it, especially with the timing that it came out. It just helped them forget about things for whatever 3 minutes and just enjoy it. So that was really good to hear.
And what is going to be next for you now? I suppose now that the phases are being lifted and we can actually now get around the country, and I know things are starting to slowly reopen. I know gigs are kind of still way down the line, but have you any plans in the near future?
So in the near future, I think you're right. There's no gigs happening for the foreseeable future. I released another song now, Chi Town. So I think I might release one more in the next couple of months, but that's probably going to be it until next year. My plan was to release an album this year, an EP this year. Um, and obviously I'm actually not going to do that because I can't promote anything properly. So I'm kind of pushing it off until next year, and hopefully we'll record enough music in the meantime to put out an album instead. So I'm actually kind of happier with how things are panning out. And in terms of in the near future, to be honest, I'm gonna keep doing some live stream gigs and put up some different versions of the songs, and maybe even record a few covers and try and get some of my friends in, either to play with me or sing with me or do stuff over Zoom or just video separately and put it all together. Those sort of little projects are gonna keep me going. And I'm actually moving to London doing a master's in October. So I got offered a place to do that recently, and I'm just doing songwriting and producing. So I'm really looking forward to doing that.
That is going to be incredible. Like, if there's one place for music, I think London is just so vibrant, and there's so much going on over there.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I was looking there. I literally sat down with my mom, and we were like, right, we're gonna see what's going on. And I was looking for anything to do with producing or songwriting, and we put in songwriting and producing. This Yard Ed came up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna apply there, and luckily got in. So I'm buzzing to go.
Brilliant. So you can go over in October, and do you know yet what way the setup will be? Or, because I know the UK are kind of on par with us with reopening. So do you know yet, like, will there be lectures, or will it be like initially online, or have they even said to you yet?
I At the open day sort of thing that was on Zoom, they were saying they were really hoping that it's going to be all in person, and I think they've moved it from September to October for that specific reason. but they also said that they have capabilities to do it sort of online blended sort of thing as well. So either way, I think it's going to be going ahead. I definitely prefer to have it all in person, because half the thing is making contacts, you know.
Yeah. And have producing music, like you need to be in a studio with people as well.
Exactly.
Kat, we did say we'll try to get our own live studio session with you before you head to London. But in the meantime, where can we find you on social media?
So I am Cat Reynolds 01 on Instagram. I have a YouTube account, Cat Reynolds, that I'm going to be putting up a lot of videos on, and Cat Reynolds Music on Facebook as well. And I'd love to do that live show. It'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, your brand new track, Ever After Happy, is out now, and you have another track on the way for us. But as I said, hopefully now in a few more weeks, we'll catch up in real life in a venue in Limerick, and you can perform live for us as well.
That'd be great.
Cat Reynolds, thanks so much for chatting to us on the Limerick Post Show. We're here in River Point in Limerick. The sun is shining, and we're delighted to be joined by Carol Daly, who organised Metis Music for Mental Health. It's a very special day today. We're all gathered because you had a very significant cheque to hand over.
Absolutely, Meghann. We had version 3 of Music for Mental Health, Metis Music for Mental Health, back in January now. But we raised €18,600 on the night. Huge support from all the companies in Limerick. Many artists playing on the night. Support from Dolan's, where they gave us the warehouse. So that seems like an age ago at this stage. And there was a bit of delay, obviously, getting monies together and collecting stuff with the COVID situation. But we got it all put to bed last week, and we handed over 6,200 to each of Pieta House, Limerick Suicide Watch, and ADAPT Domestic Abuse Services. So, look, we're very welcome in these times, because it's been a difficult time, obviously, for lots of people. So, delighted to be able to talk to you this morning and talk about that. The gig is a fantastic event. Usually when you hit kind of number three, you're kind of looking at these events and do they start to wane or whatever, but it was as strong as ever. And I'm thinking, depending on what's happening next year, it'll probably be even stronger, because so many people are mad to get back to music events and live events and mingle with people, because it hasn't been happening obviously for the last 3 months. But look, at super event. I want to thank Metis Ireland, my former company, for sponsoring the event this year. They've been there at the helm for the last 3 years. I want to thank people like Cara O'Shea, John Daly, who are in behind the scenes, helping me out. Obviously Dolan's Warehouse for giving us the place. People like yourselves in the Post have given us coverage along the way. I want to thank the 3 charities for the fantastic work they do. So Limerick Suicide Watch, Pieta House, and ADAPT Domestic Abuse, specifically this year. They're doing fantastic work behind the scenes. It goes on every day. You know, we only bring attention to it one day with this gig, but they're doing this day in, day out, and probably even more so in these difficult times has been needed. There is a bunch of companies that I just wanted to run through and thank. This wouldn't happen without their support and the monies that we raise, and because of the event on the night, we always have a great event with lots of people, 350 people plus, and the companies bring their own staff, their own teams on the night as well. So not only do they support us financially, but they support us on the night with bringing the people along as well. So I have a list, because I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget them. So excuse me for referring to notes. So I do want to thank Ingenium, Limerick Chamber, Hom Solicitors just here, CPL just down the road, O'Malley Griffin Insurances, Limerick Tutorial College, Cube Printing, Rigid Containers, Ernst & Young, Kirby Engineering, Action Point, Icon, and there's some individuals that have helped us as well all the way along, all the way along. Brendan Ring, Tom Tierney, Barry Lunn, Michael Fitzgerald, Roy Finucane, Stephen Keogh, and Jerry Phelan. So look at all those people. A lot of those people have come back every year from the beginning to help us. So look at, thank them all. It wouldn't happen without them. And then last but not least, I do want to thank the artists. Yeah. So again, we give the stage to young artists on the night. The idea is that, look at, if you tie in mental health, so it's to raise awareness for mental health. Yeah. It's to support local charities, but it's also to give a stage for local artists that are producing music day in, day out, and they struggle to get their work out there into the open and get people to see it. So we give them a stage for the night where they can come on play in front of an audience of 300 people and do their stuff. So look, it's a great idea. I think it works very well, and hopefully we'll have many more of them to come. So I really appreciate you and your time, guys, this morning. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Carol Daly. Thanks, William. I'm now joined by Denise from Adapt. I know that the money raised for you on the night is going to be massively needed, especially now with everything that's happened. Can you tell me how the money will be utilised?
Sure, well I suppose the COVID, the pandemic hit us really badly in terms of our fundraising. Like we had to close our charity shop at the very start. Normally each year we have to raise about 200,000 just to keep all our services going. So our church gate collections were gone, our shop was gone. So we ended up with around 32% loss in our fundraising. So this couldn't come at a better time. So to actually have this money to put towards the operation of our services. So during the pandemic, our refuge stayed open. Yeah. So we were busy. Yeah. We continued. Our helpline was open. Our outreach service, we provided phone support. So all the services stayed open, but the funding wasn't there. The additional funding that we needed to keep all the services open. So really, this money that was raised is going towards that.
And I know a lot of people were talking during the whole coronavirus pandemic that domestic violence and abuse was up and that demands were out there. So I'm sure you were very tough on this charity trying to look after everyone.
Absolutely. And I think for the first week in March, our helplines spiked by about 50%. Right. Then when the lockdown happened, we actually went very quiet. The helplines went really, really quiet. So the suspicion kind of nationally was that women couldn't seek help. They didn't have a safe space. Because if you think about it, for women, the home is not a safe place where there's domestic violence. So when they were locked down with their abuser. The children were locked in as well. Normally they can go to school, women can go to work, or even go out socially. So the time of the lockdown was the most dangerous time for them. So what we were hearing, the women who were coming forward, the abuse they were receiving was horrendous. So since the lockdown, since restrictions have started lifting, we have become really, really busy again.
And can you tell me about the shop? When is the shop open again? Or?
The shop opened, when on June 9th it opened. Now, what they say as well, the Irish charity shops are saying they don't expect the same kind of footfall until mid-2021. Okay, wow. So even though the shop is opened, obviously the profits are way down. But look, at least it's open, it's something, and the community have been great. That's the one good thing, I suppose, that we noticed with the pandemic. We had loads of people offering support, doing bits of fundraising that they could do at home. So that was really, really helpful, but it was just a really difficult time. And continues to be, and we still have to be very careful and very mindful and make sure that all our services are, staff are returning to work gradually, slowly, and we're just making sure that everything is safe for the women and the kids in the refuge.
Denise, thanks so much for chatting to us on the Limerick Post Show.
Okay, thanks a million, Meghann. Thank you.
I'm now joined by Lucy and Kevin from Limerick Suicide Watch. I know you have been very busy all through this, and especially the pandemic. I've seen you out every night, and it's been a really tough time.
Yeah, it's been a little bit mad. To start off with, we were very fortunate with the 5k lockdown distance. We weren't meeting as many people, so that was very fortunate for us. But as time's gone on now, we're starting to get a little bit bigger with the restrictions raising. But what we decided to do then is we bought a van a couple of months back. So we're using the van now as the community outreach programme. So we're going out into different communities, we're meeting different people. It just lets people know that we're there. So we've got our trained volunteers on board, and they're there for anybody to listen to. If anybody wants to come down and you've got any questions about what Limerick Suicide Watch does, or anything, any questions at all, we're there to answer it. And also it's about being visible in the community as well, and letting people that they're not on their own and that there is people there to listen to them as well.
And obviously with the lockdown and the restrictions, fundraising was completely slashed, and it was, there was nothing that could be done. I'm sure the money raised at the Metis gig will help so much with what you're doing.
Oh, majorly, a big difference. Fundraising, it did continue only small bits, kind of here and there. There was a lot of online donations through different projects, like the 25 press-ups for 25 days. But the money will go a long way because of the outreach programme that we've introduced as well to the group. That will cost money to keep that going as well. And then as well, we're hoping to bring on some new volunteers in the next month. So to get all those new volunteers trained up, kitted, costs about €800 per volunteer. That's between getting them their uniform, their life vest, their throw bag, and then all the training then as well that we provide.
And if people want to get more information on LSW, maybe how they can volunteer or how they can maybe fundraise, where can they find you?
You can go to our Facebook page, which is Limerick Suicide Watch, our Instagram Limerick Suicide Watch, or you can go to our website, limericksuicidewatch.ie, and we also have the app there, and you can download the app, and it's got a number of services in and around Limerick City.
Lucy Kevin from LSW, thank you so much for chatting to us on the Limerick Post Show. I'm now joined by Sinead from Metis, who have been the sponsors of the gig for 3 years now. Such a great night, and so good that we're finally here and able to hand over the cheques.
Absolutely, it's fantastic. I mean, the last 3 years we've been involved and sponsored the night. It's always been a great success. Fantastic again to see how much was raised this year. Really, it's all down to Carl Daly himself. He's fantastic. The amount of work, time and energy he puts into it each year is what makes it such a brilliant success. You know, helping to raise awareness for mental health, but also, of course, raising funds for such wonderful charities. Equally, I mean, we're incredibly grateful to all the different acts that every year, you know, share their talents, share their time, and often it's all on a voluntary basis. So we're very, very grateful to that. And then I suppose finally, obviously, it wouldn't be able to happen without all the companies and all the individuals who, you know, buy tickets for the night. When they're there, then donate more money, and it's really down to the wonderful community that we have here in Limerick that makes the night such a wonderful success. So, you know, hopefully it'll continue on for the next few years, and we look forward to what happens in January 2021 and everybody able to get together and celebrate everything. So, yeah.
Hopefully now, as lockdown is getting lifted, have you all been working from home, or have you started to come back into the office now?
Yeah, so we all started working from home on the 16th of March. And over the last month or so now, just kind of gradually coming back into the office. Still very much on a voluntary basis. Unfortunately, you know, the virus is still around, so you're always going to have people with different levels of comfort. There's childcare issues too for some people, so you know, it's kind of on a drip by drip basis, but it is lovely being able to get back into the office and being able to see everybody again and having a little bit of normality back, like, so it's been good.
It is, and thankfully the sun is shining for us today.
Yeah, I know, we're so lucky today. Yeah, it's a beautiful morning and a perfect morning for hanging around the river, and you know, wouldn't mind sitting here for another hour.
Sinead, thank you so much for chatting to us.
No problem. Thanks very much, Meghann. Appreciate it.
Now joined by the man behind the music. You're the guy that gets the whole staging together. You're the one who is like very busy on the night. John, can you tell us about your role with the gig?
Well, I suppose initially when Carl and myself met, he came to me and says, look, I need a guy who knows the business, because Carl was fresh to this. So I said, yeah, great. We're not related, by the way. Well, we are related distantly, because Carl's brother is married to my daughter, so there is Daly's in the line. But when he came to me, I said, yeah, great, I'd love to do it. It was such a fantastic cause, you know, and to me, like, that's my second home stage, you know, so it wasn't a problem for me to arrange the stuff. The biggest problems on the night are logistical and technical problems. So if anything goes wrong, you just have to jump on the stage and say, where is he? You know. But other than that, it was great. But it was just great to be part of the whole thing, because we've seen in the 3 years how it's just grown, you know, and people have so accepted this, and it's you know, it's so ironic, I suppose, that we didn't know at the time this is going to be, you know, we were heading into a pandemic, but when we saw, you know, what happened on the night and the amount of people that contributed, even people who weren't there contributed, you know, which was fantastic as well. But, you know, little did we know that we're going to be in lockdown for 3 or 4 months, and we don't know what's going to happen next year. I would hope that we'll be able to do some kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, the logistical things are just getting on stage, making sure all the leads are plugged in, all the plugs are plugged in, somebody's coming out to play something, there's no sound coming out, and they just look at you with a blank stare and I say, okay, miracle time.
Well, the one thing what I think is so great about the night is all the bands and artists are all volunteering their time, and as you said there is a change from a band to an artist, so there is instruments going around, there's drum kits, there's so much happening during that gig, because we have there's so many acts, so it's a very busy night for you.
It is very busy. Like if you have 7 or 8 acts, you know, some are just 1 or 2, but then when you get the band on, that's when the fun starts. You know, you have 5 guys on stage, they're all called at the same time, so that's where you need to be an octopus, you know, you're just running around and you're just making sure. But most of the time it's run very smoothly, you know. It's like, we haven't had any major disasters, you know, which has been cool, but I think that's all down to the organisation and making sure that everything's set up before these people arrive. You know, getting people to sound check, that's always the tough part. Oh, can I come at such a time? No, everybody be here at this time, and that's the way it works. But they've been great, really have, you know, and I can't say enough about the artists and travelling from long distances, some of them, you know, which was like incredible. Because I don't know if you see that in any other sector, how artists and how they're suffering at the moment is just unbelievable, you know, and I really feel for them, you know, so like anything we can do to help people, help their profession, and help their futures, hopefully get them started in some way, because it's a new audience for a lot of them, and it's great to see such a big audience as well.
That's one thing I kind of want to touch on, was the gigs are probably going to be the last thing that we're actually going to see happening again. So as you've said, it is such a tough time for those artists. They obviously are all on social media, they're performing for us on live videos and everything, but nothing beats being on stage for them and actually getting to perform in front of a crowd right there in front of them.
Well, that's where the adrenaline starts to flow, because you don't get that vibe when you're actually doing something online. And I've seen a few people doing stuff online. It's sad in a way that people have to go and perform online, and it's like a lot of it is for free, and this free thing is like, it just doesn't work a lot of the time. Artists need to be paid, and I think when there's so many people posting for free, it just diminishes the value of the artists, and this is where we have to be very careful. Artists should be paid. A lot of these people have honed their skills over many years, and they want to get paid for what they do, and it's only right they should get paid. So I really hope this kind of comes out good at the other end, because we have a long road ahead of us, and I can't see anything happening for a long time. I should mention, aside from Carol's thing, that Limerick Jazz Festival is going to run for 2 days.
Brilliant.
In September.
Super.
With live acts. So, so I'm really trying to do my bit here for all the musicians, we have lots of things lined up for that as well. So, look, the artist is definitely the last thing that's going to come back, and we really have to think about that.
John Daly, I say we'll chat to you again for the Jazz Festival, but thanks so much for chatting to us today.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, guys.
For these stories and so much more, head over to limerickpost.ie/show. I'm Meghann Scully. This is the Limerick Post Show, keeping Limerick posted.